What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. In a major milestone in Taiwan-U.S. relations, a great friend of America. That's how U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy described Taiwan following a highly anticipated meeting with President Tsai-Ing-wen in California. That meeting went ahead despite pressure from China. Leslie Liao was there.
After countless reports, rumors, and a last-minute confirmation, a historic meeting. Taiwan President Tsai-Ing-wen and U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy shake hands outside the Ronald Reagan Library in Simi Valley near Los Angeles. A rare moment to reaffirm what has become a blossoming friendship in person.
I believe our bond is stronger now than at any time or point in my lifetime. And of course, President Tsai is a great champion of that bond.
It's a bond that Tsai has worked hard to nurture over her 7 years in power. She's the first president of Taiwan to meet a House Speaker on U.S. soil. And it's only the third time a Taiwan president has met a speaker in the U.S. or Taiwan since the two countries cut diplomatic ties in 1979.
In our efforts to protect our way of life, Taiwan is grateful to have the United States of America by our side. As we confront the unique challenges of our time.
Nearly 20 U.S. representatives from both the Democrat and the Republican parties met with Tsai.
I told President Tsai that the House Democrats will never abandon this relationship and will work hand in glove with the Biden administration to affirm our commitment.
The historical impact of this meeting is significant not just to Taiwan. The whole world is watching, with over 160 journalists at this event. And that heavy media presence is largely due to China. Beijing, which claims Taiwan as its own and hasn't ruled out the use of force to take it, made it clear it did not want this to happen.
坚决反对美国政府第3号人物众议长麦卡锡同蔡英文会见。
When Tsai met with then U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi in Taiwan last year, China launched unprecedented military drills around the island. But this time is different. Both Taiwan and the U.S. have worked hard to keep the visit low-key in a bid not to inflame tensions. The meeting was held in California, not Washington. Tsai's trip was framed merely as a stopover, and her public appearances were kept to a minimum. But McCarthy has not ruled out a Pelosi-style visit.
Are there any plans for you to come to Taiwan, or, is there any desire?
I don't have any current plans, but that doesn't mean I will not go. And if there comes a time that I go, I would not go as one party only. And I would not go for a simple purpose for myself.
And for Tsai, an opportunity to remind the world it must stand united to protect democracy.
We once again find ourselves in a world where democracy is under threat. And the urgency of keeping the beacon of freedom shining cannot be understated.
This meeting between Tsai and McCarthy is a landmark moment, a rare chance for Taiwan to stand on the global stage, and a clear signal of the friendship between Washington and Taipei. And if today is anything to go by, the two countries will stand by this crucial relationship, no matter the threats from China. Eason Sun and Leslie Liao in Simi Valley, California for TaiwanPlus.
Just moments before Tsai and McCarthy met, our reporter Jaime Ocon was outside the Reagan Library where hundreds of demonstrators gathered.
Chaotic scenes at the site of a landmark moment in U.S.-Taiwan ties.
Outside the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, over 100 protesters have come out in opposition to Tsai Ing-wen's meeting with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Wherever she's gone here in the U.S., President Tsai has drawn crowds of supporters, but also detractors. These protesters began setting up over 2 hours before the president was set to arrive.
我们就是为了蔡英文过境这个美国啊，因为美国这个只承认一个中国啊，他就过境美国，美国的政界都结束他了，这是不对的。美国要承认一个中国就不能接受这个蔡英文到访。
因为我们是中国人啊，要坚决地捍卫中国的领土完整和统一。对，台湾是中国的，以前是，未来也是。
China believes that Taiwan is part of its territory and is threatening to use military force to take the island. President Tsai maintains that Taiwan is an independent country, and that has upset Beijing and its supporters. Tensions in the Taiwan Strait can also be felt here in Southern California. TaiwanPlus was in the middle of an interview when it captured this moment between pro and anti-Tsai demonstrators. As the pushing and shoving continued, riot police began separating the two sides. Over 100 pro-Tsai supporters were also gathered in front of the Reagan Library, and many were looking forward to welcoming the president to California.
我们就是支持我们台湾的总统，对，所以我今天要来支持他。他很难得来一次美国，我一定要来这边。我人就这么近了，在这个后院了，我当然要我在沙龙 House， 我当然要来支持他。他都来到这边了，
难得总统已经来这里了。那我们人虽然在美国，但是我们心在台湾，支持台湾。
This is Tsai's 7th time transiting through the U.S. as president. A week ago, she stopped in New York before heading to Central America. And during both of her stops in the U.S. this trip, demonstrators have made sure to either welcome the president or show their anger at her arrival. Howard Zhang and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
To find out more about the implications of the meeting, James Chater spoke to Jayan Chong, Associate Professor of Political Science at the National University of Singapore.
What happens now, do you think, and how far do you think China can really push now?
At this moment, I think things seem a little bit overdetermined in the sense that the Chinese side is also receiving President Macron and also EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. So I think to have a big flare-up at this point in time would undermine Beijing's efforts, ongoing efforts to do outreach towards Europe and other places. The other bit that I think it's useful to take note of is that as China increases its threats and continually coerces Taiwan, people on the island, they get accustomed to these sorts of things. So the effect of every additional point of coercion starts diminishing over time. And at some point, Beijing will have to ask itself whether it really wants to coerce more or whether it wants to escalate or try to accommodate.
This meeting is happening as former KMT President Ma Ying-jeou visits China and meets with some Communist Party officials. Which Taiwanese political party do you think is most likely to benefit from these two simultaneous meetings?
Now, the KMT is going to play up the potential that Tsai's visit to the U.S. and Tsai's handling of relations with the U.S. creates more instability. But I think that is a rather old narrative that doesn't have that much traction anymore. I guess one of the things they have going for them is that they've shown that more regular ties with the United States isn't this, apocalyptic, dangerous kind of activity. However, I think where they need also to be more cautious is to actually show that these sort of meetings aren't just purely symbolic, that they can actually deliver something for Taiwan. So for the KMT, their ability to connect with and communicate with the PRC is one thing. The question is, what does that deliver? And importantly, I think people in Taiwan will be asking whether the KMT can deliver not just on sort of practical, well, maybe there's a little bit more trade here, maybe there's a lifting of restrictions on Taiwan there, but whether they can commit the CCP to any sort of stronger forms of restraint, which unfortunately I don't think is quite possible at this point in time.
That was James Chater speaking with Jayan Chong in Singapore. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, enjoy these shots of dog owners and their pets taking in Athens Modern Art Museum at an exhibition meant to raise awareness for animal adoption. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.